So turning now to the head, we can start by picking a gouge to match the shape, the circumference of the eye. It's important that we've got the original lump of wood in the right place for this to work, but you can set this gouge in on one side and then use it on the other to match the shape across either side of the bird. Now the brow ridges go back beyond the eye itself. We need to get those in because that's a nice bit of shadow at the back of the eye. So we pull that out here. And then this is a flatter gouge to take in this corner. And what I'm going to do is give the top of the eye a different shape from the rest of it, so that the top of the eye is actually slightly overhung by the brow. So this bit of the eye here I'm making slightly flatter than the rest. So I've got a lot of strong shadow around the eye at the front. And now I can start bringing in the side of the beak more, shaping that in so that begins to look the correct sort of shape. Now I'm going for the actual top bit of the beak itself. So I've drawn it in carefully and I'm picking a gouge that matches the curve. And again, I can use this on either side. So I push it in and then I remove a little bit of wood here to create a ridge, little wall to work to, and that'll make it easier for me to work at as I go on. So I'm changing the tool because the shape of that curve changes, and again taking away a little bit of that wood. So I've got an upper part of the beak here. Now the beak comes to a very sharp little point, very tight, little tearing little point there. So because we've got the grain going down the beak, vertical to the bird, we have long grain going into the point of the beak, so it's quite strong, but we really need to see if we can make that look as mean as it really is. So here am I pulling wood back and trying to shape the underside, the lower part of the beak, and I'm going back to one of my favourite little gouges for detail work, is a little flat number 3, and again that can be very useful in this sort of case, just for cleaning up in corners like that. A bit more shadow, and now I can shape the underside of the throat and the neck, pulling that down and across, letting the beak stand out more. And as I come round here, you'll see I go against the grain, which works up to a point, and then at some point I'm going to have to go to the other side and start working the throat in from that side. Here's where it's tearing against the grain, look. So now I polish the beak. This has got to be nice and smooth and different from the rest of the bird, which is a textured surface. So this is going to look hard and egg-like. So I polish up the beak when I've done the other side. And now I'm looking to that little bit of a sort of a flap that sits over the top of the beak where it meets the body, and of course the bird's nostrils. So I've drawn those in there, and I'm checking that both sides are equal. It's really important we go for symmetry here, and by winding in that little tool there we can pop out the centre hole of the nostril, and then setting in and removing wood around again like with the beak, we can just start creating the bottom part of that flap. So there's the bird. You can see how the beak is polished. There's a lot of shadow in there. I've punched back the nostril so it looks deeper, and we need to get it to about this stage.